Hello. Let's see if everyone can hear me. Cool. So let me just get everything started and then we'll get into today's show. Alrighty, guys. So what we're going to do today is follow along this Simon Scrapes YouTube video and just go ahead and try and understand how to build out a Saas using Loveable at n8n. So I'll just begin it here and
show you how to build a full AI SaaS
it'll be a bit more of a watching thing. Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Zero coding experience.
Thanks for joining.
Use Loveable for the front end website, n8n automations in the back, and even allow to process payments using Stripe and link all of the data together so that it works as a full functioning SaaS using Supabase in the database. If you're someone like me with pretty much zero coding experience, then this must sound really exciting.
How's the volume for everyone, guys?
You had an idea for something, but you gave up on it simply due to a lack of technical skills, no idea where to start, or not enough money to hire developers. Full AI SaaS that you can run than you could before, and we'll give a simple overview of how to run it. As you guys know, I try my best to give you all, but that's why I recommend watching this video until the end and you don't have an insane, it calls itself a professional skills.
Okay.
So let's jump straight in with some examples of what you could build by the end of this. So we've got Agent AI first. It calls itself a professional network for AI agents, but it's a web app where users can add their own AI agents. You click into them. So for example, this company research agent, and you can pay to use that AI agent. So on the back end, that would just be an n8n automation, for example. And on the front end, the user is able to click through and put in some inputs and receive an output from our agent there. This website alone supposedly has above 500,000 users, and you can see this agent alone has above 25,000 tasks completed for that specifically. We've then got websites like Relevance AI, which is a very similar concept. Build teams of AI agents that deliver human quality work. So if we go to the agents here, we've got all sorts of different agents. For example, CRM enrichment, where if you sign up, you can effectively input a prompt, input some inputs, link it to your data, and run that exactly in the same way. We've then got more specific.
So he's just going through some use cases for AI agents.
For example, voice agents. So we've got retailai.com. Supercharge your call operations with voice AI. So again, it's a similar product where they've got various specific voice agents that you can use, like receptionist, appointment setters, lead qualification. That's all on the front end, and on the back end, they're just running an automation.
Hey country, hey just another, hey Aussie.
And gives back to the front end our outputs. We're going to build something exactly like this with two clear examples so that you can go away and build an AI SaaS marketplace for yourself or for other businesses. So let's look at how we're going to implement that. And this is all with zero coding. So we'll run through step by step.
Check out what this product is that he's using. TL Draw? What's that? Has anyone seen TL Draw before? Looks pretty cool to me.
Exactly what we need to do. But first, let's look at how the web app's going to interact with the different components and what those components are. So we've got the front end website for Agent. We're going to build out our front end in as little time as possible, where we can connect to all of our integrations in the back end.
And we
can start for free with Loveable. And then when we hit the capacity limits, we can upgrade to $20 a month. So for replacing a full stack development team, $20 a month, $50 a month is very, very cheap, and it performs very well, as you'll see. So we're going to have Loveable on the front end, and every page we click through on our website is going to be built by Loveable, but it's also going to set up those integrations with what we need on our back end to actually make this happen. So we've got the front end in Loveable. Now let's look at the back end. So 3 core features will make up our back end, and this will depend on what you want to build. For a full AI SaaS marketplace, we're going to need 3 things. We're going to need the AI automations running in the back end. And for this, we're going to use n8n tools and integrate Stripe with that. And all of those are going to interact together. So when a user clicks a button on the front end in Super, and similar to everything. So
Cool.
we've got n8n.io here, which are all of alerts. So build it on different tools. Quick, let's take.
So make sure I've got a Supabase account, guys. So Supabase is just a Postgres database that allows us to host data. So maybe I will create a GitHub quickly. So let me put that somewhere. So just going to sign up for a GitHub account with my user email, and then we'll use that to log into Supabase. So it's all connected. Loveable will be connected to Supabase. Hey guys, how's everyone doing on Saturday or Sunday this weekend? Cool. Hey YY. Alrighty guys, just need to get my verification code and we should be good. Continue with GitHub. Hey Ron. Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? Cool, so I'll just use Hey Jugan. Alright, so now I've got my Supabase account. We are ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. So I'll continue with the video.
A quick look at the automations. I just wanted to quickly touch on how these are going to work and the technical infrastructure behind that, but it's actually really very simple when you automation tool examples. So a fairly generic overview there, but it costs 1 credit per execution and 4,000 scoring, same score against criterias, is extracting data from a face. It's going to send it to our backend in n8n. We're going to receive that file, extract information, summarize that information with an AI agent or LLM chain, and then return that information back to the user to help read images off the PDF. To build out any other AI or non-AI tools for yourself. First, we're going to figure out how to prompt Loveable to build the app that we want. We're then going to build out the automations in n8n. We're going to set up our Supabase database for login and for payments, and prompt Loveable again to change a few things there to make sure that works. We're going to have to set up the infrastructure on Stripe directly for our payments, and then we're going to iterate and test. I want to create a prompt that can help us create the full AI SaaS marketplace that's really clear. So I looked up a few tips on prompting for Loveable to improve the way in which I prompt, and I found this Loveable prompting Bible, which you can set.
Let's just have a look at that. Loveable prompting Bible. So this will help us with our prompts. Cool. When debugging, have AI document the process for future use. Well, summarize the errors. Okay, cool. Hey everyone, how you doing? Wow, there's a lot of stuff to go through. Let's just continue with the video.
Search for as well. And all I've done is gone to my favorite AI tool, Perplexity, which is a web search engine powered by AI models in the back end. So powered by an LLM. And I've written out this prompt to give us a starting point of the prompt we're going to enter into Loveable. So it's just a starting point. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to need to refine it. But I definitely recommend doing this as well. So we've got, I want a prompt optimized for Loveable. Use the Loveable prompt.
So let's just go and copy exactly what he wrote. I'm going to save all of this in my Google Drive so that we can refer to it later. So, Loveable front end guide. So this is how I kind of take notes, everyone. We just kind of watch a video as we go and we build it out. So, extract this text. And what did you use? Perplexity. Continue with Google. I've got to sign up for all of these accounts, so I want a prompt optimized. So I want a prompt optimized for Loveable using Loveable's own prompting guide suggestions. It needs to be about developing a web app. Cool, that seems fine. Skip all this stuff.
Bible. It needs to be about developing a web app with a technical focus, clean homepage, so that I can have a similar look and feel. It needs to have a Supabase connection. Once users are logged in, they can see a page of the different automations that will be searchable. So similar to what we saw on our agent.ai page, you'd have various automations, but also a home page as well to get them to sign up. And once they're logged in, you see those different automations. I've then talked a little bit about the functionality. You really need to be specific with the heads up inputs into a function, access to these for your business, creating them yourselves. Head to school.com and we're going to take that to luck with as well to make it super quick and easy. So let's head back to the prompt in Perplexity. We're going to copy that and we'll just stick with this first prompt first. We're going to take that to Loveable. We're going to make sure that we sign up. I'm sure if we click.
So I'll just make sure that I can. Ugh. No thanks.
The requirements, your idea, tailor start is ready. You'll call it something like project Loveable page once you've signed up for a free account, and you're going to click new project, and then you're going to start something like web. You'd need a full stack engineer, or you need to be a full stack engineer yourself to be able to write out all this code. But Loveable starts by just understanding your core requirements and turning that, as you can see, into code. So it will start writing all the code blocks, and you don't need to worry about all of this. This is just telling you that it's starting to work on your idea. It's probably going to take 5 or so minutes to fully write out the code, but it's effectively powered by an LLM in the background that's specifically tailored to creating website designs, but not only the front end of a website, which are quite easy to already make using something like Webflow or Framer, but it will start to integrate the back end functionality for us. And you can see, for example, it's starting to create the Supabase connection here. So we'll let that all load up. And whilst that is loading up, let's go to Supabase and start setting up a project there. So you're going to sign up to Supabase, and then you're going to start your project. If you've got no projects already, you're going to be in this dashboard page once you've signed up for a free account, and you're going to click new project. choose the organization that it should sit in, and we're going to call it something like Loveable Demo. You're going to then save a database password and choose a region, but just leave it as the default, I would. And that will start creating a new project in Supabase. We're going to later need to take the secret keys from our project in Supabase and give that to Loveable so that it understands what database to connect with. And whilst that's still setting up, we can go up in loveable.dev to the Supabase connection here. We're going to click connect to Supabase. And what that's going to... And whilst that's still setting up, we can go up in loveable.dev to the...
So let's try that. So how do I connect it? Ooh. Cool. So I want to sync it with do I have to pay for this? Is that what's going to happen? I think so.
Supabase connection here.
So if I want to go to my settings, I think it is, settings. Here we go, cool. Connect Supabase. Cool, awesome. So we're just connecting Supabase to our Loveable project. Awesome. Connect. Done.
We're going to click connect to Supabase. And what that's going to do, if you signed up for Supabase and you're logged into your account, is allow you to authorize API access for Loveable. So we're going to give it access to the correct organization, and we're going to authorize that. And at this point, you're not going to be able to connect to any of the tables, because actually, if we go into view tables, we've not set up any of our database tables yet. It's just a completely empty database in Supabase. So we're going to cancel that, come back. Let's see how our project's getting on. We've had our first error. So Loveable is really good in some aspects and then can error out quite often. So all we're going to do is just try to fix, and it's then going to push the error back to the prompt. Now output our first view on what our marketplace Saas would look like.
Cool.
And it's not bad for a first go. We'd obviously prompt this to improve the UI, change the marketing copy, etc. We've got unlock the power of AI with a credit system to view all the tools, and you can see it's done a really good job. We've not had to build anything or build out any code. We've just clicked fix a few times and it's come here. So let's first click get started, and you can see that automatically it's thrown us to a new page, which has the endpoint register, and we would register our account here. And it's also potentially set up our Google. So up here, we can click to go back into the various different pages. Let's go back to register and register our account here. And it's also potentially set up our Google. So up here, we can click to go back into the various different pages, which is exactly visual tool. Let's have a look at that. Okay, and it's followed and sign up using an because we haven't connected to our Supabase yet. So now the website is loaded. Let's go up to the Supabase connection in the top right corner. We found the Loveable demo project and all.
Cloud tab on the left. What? Oh, okay. Cool.
we're going to do is connect to that project.
Mm-hmm.
Great, so it's connected. Follow the instructions in the chat to complete the integration. So let's go back to the project, and it's given us some additional instructions to follow to connect to Supabase. So it's encouraged us to just keep building and given us a few bits of information around user accounts, login, etc. But the one thing we're missing is we still have no tables inside our Supabase database. So let's ask it to do a couple of things. Let's ask it to fix the login page, and that's still not working. So it wasn't a Supabase issue, or it potentially was because there's no tables there. So let's tell it the errors that we're facing, and it will go into the code and fix that for us. So let's go back to our school page where we have the implement.
The text.
Plan in here, and it already set out a plan for what the different tables should look like.
Maybe I should start this project again. Oops. All right, so extract this.
Box there, code. Without us, or you need to be a full second.
Cool. Hey everybody, how you doing? Alrighty. Combine them. All right, I might start Loveable again. So if we go back here, let's try to do it from the very go. Turn it into an AI prompt using Markdown. Copy paste. What? Need these two. No, they're combined. Extract this text exactly into a body. We're getting there, guys. We just need to extract this. Get these prompts exactly the same as the Loveable. Cool. So that should be that. And then this one. And then we're going to restart our Loveable prompt and we should be ready to go, but I might need to pay for it. But that's okay. So this is our first copying one. So we've got our task. Go back into Loveable. Bam. Nice. So we've got this prompt and I'll go read through it so I know what's going on. So I need a full stack AI SaaS marketplace application with Superbase integration, striped subscriptions. The app should enable users to discover, purchase AI tools through a credit system with secure payment processing. Cool. And then what we need to do is task. Develop this using this structure: homepage, authentication, dashboard, tools, payments, guidelines, cool, integrations, core features, JWT, constraints. Awesome. We've got our first prompt. So whilst that is going, just make sure that it's connected. Built-in back ace, cool. Cool, enable cloud. Oh, I hope I didn't just do something. I hope I just didn't screw up my project. Wait. I think I did. Oh, well, this is the learning exercise that we're going through, figuring out how to use Loveable. Once we get everything, okay. Oops. Do this. Hopefully I don't waste too many credits. Just welcome to my blank app. What? I have no idea what's going on. Whatever. We're gonna start from the beginning, guys. So, let me just upgrade this to Pro so I don't waste all my... I'll do that off screen. So enter the card details. Cool, so let's make sure. Cool, just make sure I've got enough money in the account. That's always important. This will be a learning expense, guys. So we've got that done. Cool, so now we have Loveable. Alrighty, so what we're doing now is we're gonna paste this prompt to create an AI marketplace. Let's go and let's just go and enter that from the get-go. Maybe down the line we can figure out how we need to optimize our prompts, but for now let's just go and create our front end. Cool.
Engineer yourself to be able to write out all this code, but Loveable starts by just understanding your core requirements and turning that, as you can see, into code. So it will start writing all the code blocks, and you don't need to worry about all of this. This is just telling you that it's starting to work on your idea. It's probably going to take 5 or so minutes to fully write out the code, but it's effectively powered by an LLM in the background that's specifically tailored to creating website designs, but not only the front end of a website, which are quite easy to already make using something like Webflow or Framer, but it will start to integrate the back end functionality for us. And you can see, for example, it's starting to create the Supabase connection here. So we'll let that all load up. And whilst that is loading up, let's go to Supabase and start setting up a project there. So you're going to sign up to Supabase, and then you're going to start your project. If you've got no projects already, you're going to be in this dashboard page once you've signed up for a free account, and you're going to click New Project.
Hey everybody.
Choose the organization that it should sit in, and we're going to call it something like Loveable Demo. You're going to then save a database password and choose a region, but just leave it as the default, I would. And that will start creating a new project in Supabase. We're going to later need to take the secret keys from our project in Supabase and give that to Loveable so that it understands what database to connect with. And whilst that's still setting up, we can go up in loveable.dev to the Supabase connection here. We're going to click Connect to Supabase. And what that's going to do, if you signed up for Supabase and you're logged into your account, is allow you to authorize API access for Loveable. So we're going to give it access to the correct organization, and we're going to authorize that. And at this point, you're not going to be able to connect to any of the tables, because actually, if we go into View Tables, we've not set up any of our database tables yet. It's just a completely empty database in Supabase. So we're going to cancel that, come back. Let's see how our project's getting on. We've had our first error. So Loveable's really good in some aspects, and then can error out quite often. So all we're going to do is just try to fix, and it's then going to push the error back to Loveable in order for them to start fixing the error. And if this doesn't work, we're just going to simplify our prompt and work at it a little bit at a time, give it a simpler prompt to start with, and then add functionality as we go through. So let's go back to Loveable now, and it's actually identified the error for us and started a fix on that, and actually now output our first view on what our marketplace SAP would look like. And it's not bad for a first go. We'd obviously prompt this to improve the UI, change the marketing copy, etc. We've got unlock the power of AI with a simple credit system. So not really selling the value there, but The description underneath is not bad. Access a marketplace of premium AI tools with a flexible pay-as-you-go credit system. No commitments, just a powerful AI at your fingertips. So it's really understood the brief and created this nice header on the homepage. It's then got
Cool.
a link to view all the tools with a little how it works. So purchase credit, select a tool, get results, which is exactly as we described. It's got a foot down here. Again, the color scheme needs a bit of work, but it's done a really good job. We've not had to build anything or build out any code. We've just clicked fix a few times and it's come here. So let's first click get started. And you can see that automatically it's thrown us to a new page, which has the endpoint register. And we would register our account here. And it's also potentially set up our Google. So up here, we can click to go back into the various different pages. Let's go back to register. And it's also set up these other pages. So dashboard, tools, pricing, billing. Let's see if we can access any others right now. Okay, this is a really good example of where it's implemented some security measures here. So we're trying to access the tools or the dashboard, and it's thrown us back to the login page. Let's have a look at Google. And I have a suspicion, and all we're going to do.
So let's connect our edge functions. No, we want to connect database. So let's just go settings. Cool. Integrations. Awesome, so that's already connected. I guess we're good to go. All right.
Is connect to that project. Great. So it's encouraged us to just keep building and given us super base issue, or it potentially was because there's no tables there. So let's tell it the errors that we're facing and it will go into the code and fix that for us. So let's go back to our school page where we have.
So extract this.
Have the implementation plan in here, and it already set out a plan for what the different tables should look like in Superbase. So if I copy and paste that, we'll go back to Loveable. The first one we've already put in, so login sign up is not working, either through Google OAuth or normal sign up. And then I've put the name of the error in, and then I'll put
sign in. Cool.
We have no tables in our Superbase database. Here's an example of what they could look like. Add any other necessary tables. And we'll just.
All right. So I guess we're just creating one thing at a time. Hey everybody. All right, so login is not working. Cool. This is an example of what it could look like. All right, let's see what happens.
Paste in that Superbase example set up there, and we're just going to let Loveable run through that and see if we come back whether the login and sign up errors are now fixed. So this is where Loveable gets really powerful because they have the inbuilt integration with Superbase. We don't even need to go to Superbase to set up our tables. If we were setting up a project through Superbase, we'd have to go to the SQL editor, and this is an alternative way to do it. We'd copy and paste in these table schemas, which is basically the different tables and how they link to each other and the data types. And we'd have to paste those into here. We'd have to run the command. But because they've got this inbuilt integration, it gives us the different tables that we've suggested, along with access policies. And you'll need to go through these because they won't be perfect, and make sure that these access policies are secure before you publish. Don't treat this like a production ready app. You still need to make sure that it's got the security policies, test out the website, test out all the different edge cases, see if you can break into your own website, because there may be a policy missing that means other people can access certain pages they can't, or people can access information from the database. So you need to go through it and check that as well, or use an AI tool to help you check those policies and understand what they mean. But we've got a few policies in here, like users can view their own transactions, user can insert their own transactions. So all it asks us to do is to apply changes. So that's going to create those tables in Supabase for us. So again, we don't have to touch a thing. And soon we'll be able to start building out the back-end automations that can link to this. So first, let's just see if the generic sign up is working before we do anything around Google. So let's go to create account here, and it's come up with a cool little pop-up here, account created, check your email to confirm your account. And if we go back to our Supabase tables, so we can go to our database on the left-hand side here, you have a visual view. It's set up 3 tables for us. One is tools, one is profiles, so that'll be our users, and another is transactions. So you can see that it's understood and started building out what our tables should look like and the links between those tables. And if
let's just make sure that's actually done something, because what is going on here? Authentication. So where's our users? There's our user table there. So let's just sign out. Can you configure sign out functionality? This is pretty cool, guys. So we've literally only got 2 pages at the moment. Favorites, usage, buy more credits. Wow. Done. Sign out. So sign in. Cool, whatever. When I sign in, it is stuck on loading your dashboard. So what tables were created? User table, right? Hmm. Cool, so now it seems to be working. That is cool. Alrighty, so now we can sign in and sign out. Wow, that's pretty cool. But I don't see anything in my tables. Which super base tables are you using to store the stuff? User records. Oh wow. That is crazy. What is going on there? So how do I query the table? Profiles, public profiles. So what? Superbase handles user authentication through two tables. Auth users. This is core managed automatically. Stores email, blah, blah. You cannot directly create some securities like an auth. Okay, we created this table to store additional user data, links. Okay. When a user signs up, Superbase creates the records in auth.user. Our trigger automatically creates the records in public.profile. I don't see any tables in profile though. How come I don't see any tables in public? It's be very interesting to see if it actually works or not. Good news. Okay. View them, go to database, tables. Am I in the wrong project? Click the button below to open your, yeah. Try refreshing. Oh, so the tables are in. What database is this? Loveable Cloud runs in a Superbase under the hood, but you don't.
fact, we go instead to set on the free plan, you get 50. We click into profiles. You can see tables should look like, and the links tables. So we can go to our database on the left-hand side here. You have a visual view. It's set up.
I want to see this in Superbase though. I can only see it in Loveable Cloud. Ah, shit, I don't want to do that though. I want to manage it through... Shit. Let's try again. This is going to be an expensive mucking around, so I don't want to turn can I turn off Loveable Cloud? Cool. What is that? Notification. No. Decline. So that's a thing you need to watch out for, guys, that if you enable Loveable Cloud, it locks you into Loveable. So we definitely don't want to do that. We're going to create this and store all of our tables in Superbase. Because the idea is we just want Loveable to build the initial skeleton of our app. Then afterwards, we want to host it somewhere else so we're not locked in. Because like, how much is Loveable per month? Loveable Cloud. Jeez, that's expensive. 65 bucks a month. That is super expensive, guys. Don't do Loveable Cloud. Cool. All right. we're back where we were. So I want to get started. And I want to delete all of these tables. Project settings. Table editor. I want to delete all of my tables in Superbase for a project. How do I just remove everything? Maybe we'll just create a new project. Delete project. We call it Loveable Demo. Cool. Let's create that new project and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so make sure that we log into our Superbase account again. Connect to a project. Let's do that. Alrighty, so alrighty, what was his thing? So set up user sign in and sign out functionality. See below. Cool. So let's see if this actually works or not this time, guys. We've spent an hour, a lot of credits on getting our Superbase integrated with Loveable. So it's going to ask us to authenticate. Cool, profiles, tools. Looks like it is good and we'll allow it. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what happens now. So guys, I have no idea what it's doing, but let's just assume it's correct. So continue with our video.
3 tables for us. One is tools, one is profiles, so that would be our users, and another is transactions. So you can see that it's understood and started building out what our tables should look like and the links between those tables. And if in fact we go instead to table editor, we click into profiles, you can see.
So this is pretty cool. If this works for this front end, hopefully I can leverage it across multiple other projects. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Cool, so that all we would really need to do, auth dashboard profile. Because what I'm thinking is, let's get this one working, and then after that we can see where else we get to. So I don't know what the difference between using this and cursor would be. I suppose this is all integrated into the cloud, so it might be a bit easier. But what we're practicing here is just going through the workflows of all the different prompts that we need to add, how to prompt it to do user authentication, how to prompt it to add Stripe subscriptions. And then once it starts working, we'll probably move across to a different AI project. Cool. So if I press get started here, sign in there, oops, sign up. Cool. When I signed up and clicked on create account, it did not redirect me to the dashboard. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. We're just trying to get our user authentication for our app working. So we're just mucking around with Loveable, Supabase, and anytime it doesn't work, we just go and prompt it using natural language. So that's really cool. So check out our tables. We've got profiles. How did he get that old view? That was pretty cool. Database. So we've got profiles, auth user IDs, tools, transactions, and they're all linked. So tools is tools ID. Nice. Cool. Cool. So can I sign in? There you go. It's asking me for email confirmation. Confirm your sign up. Confirm. Yep. Cool. It's doing some funny business there. But let's see. So now we've confirmed it. Let's sign in. Cool. Now let's sign out. That's pretty cool. So check out Loveable tables now, see if we've got any profiles. We've got a profile. Cool. You can see how many credits we've got. Okay, let's keep going, guys.
That it's start from email, different tools, credits for the on the front and back end. And just to remind, I'm going to copy Chewy so action by those make PDF web app. Do nothing. Cool. If you click never, worry about that. I've told it to rebuild and fix it. Cool. Cannot find names.
Alrighty. So in our automation, let's go and create a webhook. Webhook, done, production, whatever. Execute workflow, save. Alrighty, so let's give it a production. Do nothing, respond to operation. Cool. Cool.
PDF. We're going to copy the production you are responsible for, and then what connect. We're going to our Loveable user inputs, and we'll have a webhook respond with all incoming items back to them.
Test.
Loveable site, and in connection work to our Loveable site input box with the webhook response when it returns. So what we're going to have here is the webhook that's receiving the data from Loveable when I scriptive text box with the webhook response when it returns. So what would
it's a post method. Cool. Test.
we're gonna switch to the we're just and we're just going to change the path here to extract row that we activate. Apart from the back, did you mean selection? So there was just
okay.
some build app.
So extract text and insert our webhook. Our webhook. Do you know any good workflow structures that get content researching? Workflow structures as in n8n workflows? So create one tool. Create one tool. So let's just do that. Create one tool. So is he hosting a...
I'm going to say create one.
Sign in. Cool. So we actually host our tools in the Supabase database. That's pretty sick. And then once it's done,
One tool, a sales lead qualifier with an input field of LinkedIn URL and a second input field can be click on that with you to our back end. Broad graphs at the front people should look. Let's go to create account here, and it's come to our data and go in stits because it's all with. And let's sign it through to a dashboard. Great. So what we've got here is a dashboard. It's come up with error.
cool. So what it has done, tools with the name, description, category, credit cost, icon, values, automatic sales market, 5 credits. Create the sales lead with 2 input fields, linked URL, and cool. So we can see here we've got that. That is cool. Awesome. So if I refresh this, awesome. Look at that. That is amazing. Cool. So we're just creating a webhook. Cool. So now we can enter our next prompt. Oh, we already did that. So if we go into it, use tool, test, sales, test, process. Awesome.
Credits to take away the qualification based webhook, and it's
See if our automation ran correctly. Executions. Nice, we got a success. That is really cool. Alrighty, let's continue, guys. Alright, I don't really care about building it out because that would have passed it into the webhook, right? So you would have had the body, which contains the two variables, and just pass them through. That is fine. Automation, user credit system, cool.
A credit system that works, somebody's using it. And then also we need to implement a paywall with Stripe. So we're going to have the front Loveable, absolutely any automations, and have this as a tool, which is making our credit mount. Look through the tables here to appear on our Saas. We can remove here because actually we can feature tools section, but it's not here. None of the user, if it's successful, from our account. So once we receive a response, so I said each time a tool, we've got make update. It will give you some instructions. Let's head to Stripe, where we're going to set up payments. So you're going to
cool. Let's do that now. So I'll do that off screen. Make sure that we don't share anything. Cool. So I'm just going to set up Stripe on the right hand side. Cool, so now I've got Stripe.
You need to set up an account in Stripe, and once you set up a Stripe account, it will give you some instructions on whether you want to start looking at one-off payments or recurring payments. So here we're looking at recurring payments. So say pay $20 a month, get 100 credits, etc. And whilst we've been away, it's fixed the issues of credit deduction and transaction recording when tools are run. So before we set up the payments, let's just test the credits here. So we've got 50 credits here. And if we go to the profiles, we can see that we've still got 50 credits on our profile in the database. So there's two things that need to happen. It needs to update in the database, but also needs to update on our front end to show the user that they've used some credits. So we're going to refresh this here. And this says that it's going to use 8 credits per use. And in our backend database, we can see inside the tools that it's got a credit cost of 8 in there. So that's great. So we're going to run the tool. We're going to pass in the URL. We're just going to put some random criteria here. But because all we're looking out for is that it's updating our credits both in the database and on the front end.
So let's make sure that that's happening in ours as well. So on my Loveable page now, I can see that I've got Stripe credits 95. So every time I run my app now, try it one more time, sales 2, process, cool, 90 credits. Make sure that profiles 90. So we've integrated that correctly. Let's go and continue on.
We will have to add logic to this that says if the user has 0 credits or not enough credits to perform the action, then they can't take the...
Let's try that. Perfect. Let's see that. So how do I get my test account? Hey everyone, what's happening? Where is my chat? Thanks for joining, guys. Hope you are learning as much as I am. Trying to implement a subscription model onto Loveable using Stripe. So just bearing with me by following this. Cool.
Expected. Let's start integrating our payment links here. So we're going to go back to Stripe. We're going to grab the...
So we have a sandbox. So sandbox.stripe. Let me just get that on the other side. Oops. So on here, I'm going to see, cool. So I need to go find my sandbox. Perfect.
Second order at once.
Oops. Cool. So once we
credits, etc. And whilst we've been away, it's credits in the database. Fresh list, looking at enough fresh. How you pick up the don't have more assistance if you got there. Correct credit is the defective credit. Okay, so I'll have and try this. It's not going to grab the video as we expected. Let's start integrating our payment links here. So we're going to go.
So you go to dashboard.stripe.sandbox payments payment links. There we go, payment links. Cool. Create a test payment link, and we're just going to call it test. Cool. Yep. Cool. Create the link. Create an invoice payment. Add a new product. Test. Reoccurring. Should it be a reoccurring? $20 per month. Cool. Test, add product, quantity 1. Cool. Create the link. So
go back to Stripe. We're going to grab the link from our payment link section, and we're going to get Loveable to set up the payment links. To insufficient credits, get them to purchase through this payment link, and I've linked the Stripe link. It's the $20 a month plan and should give them 100 credit.
Okay, let's do that. So in my Gemini, update this prompt to include this link. So we're getting close to the end, guys, which is pretty cool. Once we have this working, I might actually try and build out a proper Saas. Cool, so now we've got that. Copy the link, paste this in here. And what happens?
The database, the backend on the Stripe. But then, as I believe, we have to connect our Stripe account to the Loveable app here. There's a link missing. We need a user to pay, but then in our database, we need to link that user base back from Stripe based on their transaction to the user in our database. So I've followed up with how does this connect to my Stripe account and know which customer.
Cool. All right, let me just find out how to get my API key. Where is my API key? How do I find this? Yep. Developers on the left-hand side somewhere. Give me the URL. Oops. Cool, so are these my test ones? Whatever, I'll just go create a new one. Cool. Loveable. Cool. All right, what do I need to give it access to? I need it to be able to allow users to make a purchase. What access? So it would have to be payments, huh? Hey everybody, trying to figure out what I need to give access to. For a created one. Has anyone got any experience with the PayPal stuff? So customers would need to go to that. So it needs write access to customers. Needs read access to checkout sessions. Subscriptions, it needs read to subscriptions. And it needs webhook endpoints, read payment intents, needs read, and events it needs read. Let's just save that, create the key. I'm just creating a key. Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Oh, thanks for the follow, TRG. Cool. So let me just paste that. into my Loveable theme. Thanks for following me, guys.
Customers create a purchase when Stripe base and update your database. Would you like me to implement these Stripe integration components? All we need to do is say yes. So it understands the steps we need to take, and we can just ask it to take those steps for us. And we're going to go and grab the Stripe secret key here. An alternate way it may ask you to do things is to use the product ID, which if you click into the product, you can just grab from these areas and say, okay, this is associated with the AI Saas 100 credits product as well, instead of using a payment link. And it might ask us to do that. So we've come back here and it says we need to create all of this stuff for you. First on the API keys, let's take it, gone to that page, do not share this with anybody, but it links to the Stripe API key page here. So once we've done that, it's told us to add the API key. So I've taken it, gone to that page, got my secret key, come back and just pasted it in here. We can submit that and now it's going to save it in the backend securely for us. Let's move on to the next step it asks us to do. So while that processes, just to be clear, this is the stage that we're at now. So we've built a front end and we've got the automations working on the back end. It's now deducting credits based on usage. However, when we run out of credits, it's going to force us to sign up and pay. And right now we are connecting Stripe so that Stripe can interact with our database, which can interact with our front end, and everything is synced up so that our customers are getting a good experience. And that also you can sell these Saas automations or the process of running them.
Okay, so how do I get my secret key? How do I get this? Let me just do this off screen again. Make sure we don't share anything. Okay, it's asking for this.
Them in the back end to other people. Great, so it's taken our Stripe secret key and it said it's created a complete Stripe integration with the following features. It creates Stripe checkout sessions for subscriptions and one-time payments. It handles Stripe events, so whenever Stripe receives an event like a customer's paid, it will effectively handle that by receiving them back. It verifies a user's subscription status with Stripe.
So where do I add the... So go to developers. Why can I... Does anyone know how to find the webhooks? Okay, cool. So I've got a webhook here. I need to add a destination, I suppose. All events, whatever. Cool. Cool. I have no... Wait.
Every table page, let's just need to find the endpoint URL, and then endpoint is effectively a URL that this is going to... We're going to create an event dashboard that points to our Superbase webhook endpoint. So we'll click on the Stripe webhook setup here. We're going to create an event destination, and then we need to find the endpoint URL, and then endpoint is effectively a URL that this is going to connect to, and it's going to hear our Stripe event. So every time a customer pays, Superbase is going to hear and these different webhook endpoints, and that will update the database directly. So we'll open the edge functions on Superbase.
Okay. Edge functions are down here. Yep. Cool.
And it gives us these different webhook endpoints. So we're
Got
going
it.
to connect it to this URL or this endpoint. And just go back there, and there's a little copy tab there, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to take it back here, and we're going to connect it to here, and we'll just give it a description here of Superbase Stripe. So we also need to select which events it's going to listen to. So Stripe has a load of different events for different things that we could take actions upon, but we're actually just looking for checkout session completed. So when a checkout session is completed, it has loads of subs as Superbase with the name Stripe Webhook Secret at the end here. Take that back, we hear those, place them.
All right, guys, I might have to stop here. Thank you for joining, and it's lunchtime. Hopefully I can smash this out soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.